Hey, it's Bruno here. Oh my god, this app looks amazing. I love this Redux thing, and look at this logging. It's going to be awesome. I think our developers are really going to enjoy this, and I think our app can scale really, really well now with us being able to keep track of all these actions. Super awesome job. I'm really glad I hired you. Well, Bruno's definitely excited about our work. I think we're doing some good work for him, but there's still lots more to learn, and I have a feeling he's going to ask us to do a lot more things. Let's review what we just learned. And I'm going to go through these diagrams that may not have made as much sense to you at the very beginning, but now it should be quite clear. We had React that allowed us to manage state with this.state, but not very well once our app grows. It can get pretty hectic and get to a state where our component looks like this, with all these states that need to be managed. Luckily for us, with Redux, we're able to create a store and have these actions dispatched to the store. And all the connected components would just listen in. And the cool thing about it is that we didn't have to pass down props anymore. We can just connect our component wherever we want. We can connect this one if we wanted to. We can connect this one. Whichever component we wanted to connect, that was up to us. But it made everything in one location nice and easy. Now our app would look like this. And then we finally talked about why use Redux. Well, it makes sense now. It's great for managing large state. We can share data between containers. And now we understand the three principles which make it very predictable. The first one is the fact that it was single source of truth. We just have one massive JavaScript object to worry about that describes our app, our state. The state is also read-only. Every time our reducer spits out a new state. So we're never modifying anything, and we can always do cool things like go back in time and run through the actions to see what state we derive at, or what state we end up getting into the view, such as typing LA into the search field and getting the appropriate robots. And then finally, all the changes are made using pure functions, a great technique that avoids side effects so that our apps are really, really predictable. We learned about this diagram and how everything flows nicely, unidirectionally. We have actions that may or may not go through middlewares. We have reducers, we have store, we make changes, and anytime there's an action, we go back and have this unidirectional flow. And now, instead of having those apps that, let's say, used jQuery back in the day that had all these complex logics that we couldn't reason about or we couldn't make sense in our head, can now look like this. Everything flows nicely. And then finally, the last point is that Redux doesn't mean that you can't use this.state anymore. For things such as perhaps a small sign-in form, we might want to still use this.state here because we don't need to put everything in a Redux store. We as developers can decide what goes into the store and what is minor and unimportant enough that we can still use this.state. React and Redux work well together, and we architect what our app should be like. Finally, this all is starting to make sense now. This critical render path have just been improved. We learned that Webpack helps us bundle these files in a nice, easy way so that we can deliver the most optimized JavaScript files to the front end. And in the Performance Part 2 section, you're actually going to learn a few more tricks that we can do with Webpack in order to optimize this. We also now understand why Redux and React work well together. One, for React to minimize the number of DOM updates that we need to make. It's going to intelligently decide what exactly needs to get rendered. And Redux adds onto the React by making it easier for us to understand as our apps get bigger and bigger. All right, that was a tough section, but I'm glad that you got here this far. I hope you keep going because there's lots of other goodies coming up. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are as well. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.